Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Average Age Plays. This time, we're playing as the Berbers, up against JJP19, who is playing as the Ethiopians. The Berbers are a really fun civilization, but very different from our previous episode with the Aztecs. The Berbers are, in my opinion, very straightforward when it comes to their strategy, the kind of things that you want to do with the Berbers. Their typical play is very straightforward. So let's take a look at their bonuses here. First, villagers move 10% faster. Now, this has a couple of functions that's really neat. Yes, it's an economy bonus. It means that you get resources faster. You know, your farmers collect food faster because they're moving faster. If wood lines get really long, you know, they have to walk a long way back and forth to their resource. Then that helps them, right? You know, they can move faster. It also, though, is a great defensive bonus. It means that if you're being raided, you can get to your town center faster, and you can, you know, hide faster, and that often may make the difference between life or death. If you're doing something like a castle drop or a tower rush, then you can, again, get to your target faster. So that's a really nice bonus. And for the Berbers, speed is kind of a thing for them. So their villagers move faster. Also, their stable units are 15% cheaper in the Castle Age and 20% cheaper in the Imperial Age. Again, a focus on cavalry, knights. You're going to have a fast army, right? And this economy bonus is perhaps the thing that makes the Berbers, right? It's your ability to pump out knights cheaper than other players in the Castle Age, and I think a knight rush is the typical common play if you're a Berber player. Now, something else that the Berbers do, their ships move 10% faster. And that's one of the reasons why I prioritize playing the Berbers on Nomad. The Berbers are actually a pretty good nomad civilization. You have to move your villagers around a lot just to get your town center up and running. So that villager move speed bonus is pretty important for that aspect of things. I think you may have seen early on when my opponent and I were building our town centers, even though his villagers were sort of in the same vicinity, my villagers were able to get to each other faster because of that Berber bonus. And so the town center goes up faster than his does, right? But another reason why is because when playing Nomad, one of the things that you want to do is try to get fishing ships out as quickly as possible. Now, the Ethiopian player, he's done a good job getting his first fishing ship out faster than I could. So kudos to him. But once my fishing ships get out, they will move faster back and forth. And that does mean, again, a stronger food economy for the Berber player on a Nomad map. That bonus will help out a lot. Not to mention what happens if I decide to contest the water against the Ethiopian. The faster moving ships means my fire ships will be able to get into his fishing economy faster than maybe he can, or if we get into a fight, then he can't really run away from me because my ships are faster than his. It's a very, very strong bonus, right? So just looking at the Sieve bonuses, the Berbers are very strong, and they bring a lot to the table. And I think that they are a great nomad civilization. It's something that I don't think we often think of the Berbers as top tier, number one nomad civ. I think that often we think of like the Spanish or the Lithuanians. Certainly at my elo, those are sort of the civs that often jump to mind. Maybe Sicilians, possibly. But I would say that the Berbers are a very, very good civ for just all of these little moving pieces that fit together so well on a nomad map. Now you'll see here, and this is not so much Berber as it is just general nomad strategy, I put almost all of my villagers onto wood. And the reason why is because I want to focus my efforts on my dock, on the fishing ship. I know that I'm a Berber player, so even on top of general, strategy. I know I'm going to get even more out of my fishing ships, so I really want to get the wood up so that I can get a lot of fishing ships out and moving. So, once I get out enough fishing ships, the fishing ships will take care of my food situation for me. I do have, I'm able to get a couple onto another sheep, and I'll end up taking advantage of the deer and the berries and that kind of thing. So we're going to keep our situation balanced, but I really wanted to make sure that I had wood to get the fishing ships out. Now on Nomad, one of the things that I often see, actually I see this a lot of times on water maps. In my experience, in games that I win, my opponent often will build 2 or 3 or 4 fishing ships, maybe 5 fishing ships, and call it a day. They'll say, all right, that's good. Now I'm getting water up. And that's it. In my, mental headspace, in my strategic thinking, I often consider the dock as a kind of sort of second town center. If you're able to keep your town center and your dock going at the same time, that means that you are booming economically in a way that someone else isn't if they're only working on their town center, right? So there are risks to that. Like if I don't contest the water and he does, he comes in with a navy and just wrecks all of these ships that I've invested into, that hurts. And so you do need to be willing and ready to defend those ships. But I think that taking advantage of the ships is a really big bonus. So that's something that I think is important as I move into, as we're getting near teching up into the feudal age. I decided to throw a couple of villagers onto stone. Now the Berbers, again, other than the faster moving villagers, they don't exactly have any particular bonuses for tower rushes or castles or anything like that. But I did realize as I was putting up my town center, I could see the treaty box around his town center. So I realized, wow, we're right beside each other. And I can see just enough, if I switch over to my view. I don't know if so he knows I'm there. I know he's there. And I say, wait a minute. Okay, I know he's got to be working on this wood line. I can see a farm. I can see berries. So if I can get up a couple of towers, I can get him off of this wood, off of the berries. I can be really annoying as soon as I hit the feudal age. So let me prioritize stone. And maybe I can do some kind of tower aggression into maybe a castle drop or something like that. I can make something happen in the feudal age. So, part of playing the game is not just knowing your civilization and their strengths and playing to those strengths, but also anticipating your enemy, seeing the lay of the land, playing the map, playing your opponent. Sometimes, choosing tactics that maybe you weren't initially thinking of is the right choice when you see how your opponent is playing or how the map is panning out. Notice, by the way, as we're both hitting the feudal age, I'm up 9 vills on him. And really, the reason for that, I have a couple more villagers than he does because the idle TC time. But even on top of that, I have 11 fishing ships to his 5, right? So that's where that focus on the economy is working. Now, he has the same idea. I'm really glad I thought of the tower because otherwise this would have really hurt. He has the same idea that I do. So he gets towers up. I get a tower up eventually. Kind of got to fight for it. So this is great. I'm throwing his economy for a loop, and now we get into a tower fight. Here's the cool thing, and this is a little bit lucky perhaps. I did send in a single militia just to kind of scout out and see what he might be thinking. But he doesn't have any stone. So his tower, and there'll be, if we come back to this, you'll see some skirmishing back and forth here, but he's going to run out of stone. He can't keep repairing this this watchtower, but I can, right? I'm actually gaining in stone even while I repair. What I also want to draw your attention to, the Ethiopian is building scout cav. He's training scouts. He wants to raid me. Unfortunately, I do have, walls up through most of my base, but I got to admit, he will find a way in. We'll see. He's going to be committed to getting into my base, and he may get some kills. And that's where that Berber bonus will come into play, but we'll see that in a second. While we're waiting for that, let me also talk a little bit about some of the extra bonuses that the Berbers have, because I haven't even talked about the unique units and the unique technologies, right? So the unique techs in the Castle Age, they get Casbah, which lets their castles work 25% faster. That is amazing. It's great for pumping out your unique units, for getting out, other unique techs. It's also super important for trebuchet wars. I talked about that in our last video with the Aztecs. You need to win that trebuchet war by getting out more trebuchets than your opponent does. And if your castles work 25% faster, you are much more likely to win that battle. The other thing that they have in the Imperial Age is Maghrebi camels, which allow your camel units to regenerate health. Now, that's not a lot of health, but it does make a difference. And here we do see my walls were great, but I didn't wall all the way, and so the scouts come in anyway. Bad move, Kaiser. But this is cool, right? Because it does get to actually show off the other defensive bonus for the... So I'm being raided, and because my units are faster, they are able to minimize the damage they take. Yes, this vill does die, but it's only one vill. Otherwise, it might have been two vills, right? In the meanwhile, I'm using the same bonus offensively to try to get watchtowers up in Blue's base. Here we go. Again, my villagers running for their lives. Let me shut that off. Like that. I'm back. So, because of the defensive moving, the faster speed villagers, I was able to minimize the amount of damage it took. I only lost one villager there. I was also able to get a tower up offensively faster than I would have otherwise. Now, it ends up not panning out for me. JJP makes the right choice in sending his villagers forward to knock down that tower. Good move on his part. So I applaud him there. That was the right choice. I cannot, throw up as many towers as I would have liked to. But on the flip side, again, he and we do see. I think I make a mistake here. There's a situation. I forget if this already happened or if it was a little later on, where I had a villager randomly walk into Blue's base, and I have no idea how that happened. But again, I lost one vill. The other two were able to escape to the tower. I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but you get the idea. This is it's not a flashy bonus, but it is a bonus that will save you villagers' lives. Yeah, these two villagers over here, I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know why they decided to walk all the way over there and die. So that's another way that bonus can help you. It can help your vills die faster from their own stupidity. So, take that or leave it. Anyway, let me rewind as we are teching up into the Castle Age. So, they're unique units. They get the Camel Archer, which is a great unit. It's basically like an anti-cavalry archer. In Age of Empires, camels, by definition, are anti-cavalry units. And of course, they're much faster than pikemen, and even faster than monks. So they're a great choice, and to have a Camel Archer means you've got an archer that is an anti-cavalry unit with the speed of a cavalry archer. It's just great, right? That's a fantastic, unique unit. They also get the Geniteur, which is basically a skirmisher mounted on a horse. So a wonderful anti-archer unit as well. And those are units that I would have gone heavily into. We do see... our Ethiopian player going into archers, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I know that Ethiopians love going archers, so I got to keep an eye on that, and I would think Geniteurs are an excellent, response to archers if this becomes a protracted archer fight. I've got them in the back of my mind. I have sent out a couple of fire ships as we enter the castle age. In my opinion, this is a little late. I'm a little slow to this, but I'm sending out fire ships to see if he's got a dock up, and I'm going to take down his fishing economy. In the meantime, he's attacking me with his archers, right? Doing it. This is a good idea. You know, he's pushing me off of my wood. He's, you know, shutting down my economy bit by bit. Now I'm moving over to the other wood line. This is a little bit of a bait, right? I can see him moving south, and I'm using my Berber bonus. Cheaper knights means that I can get more knights onto the field. And I'm actually able to split them up. So I'm going to flank him. I send a couple of knights from the north and more of my knights from the south to make sure that he gets off of my villagers. If I didn't have a response, this would be so annoying. But as it is, I'm ready for this. And I also, I do have blacksmith upgrades. He does not. JJP calls the GG. And that is our game. Now, it's kind of, and this is a good example of maybe the mindset that I'm taking into these average age plays videos, because did I show off the unique unit? No. Did I ever get a castle up to show off the unique technologies? No. But my focus is not so much on necessarily showing off how the unique units can be awesome. Although, again, I think the Geniteur would have been an excellent choice to counter his crossbowmen. That was in the back of my mind at this point. I would have got an archery range up soon to show them off, and it would have been great. But the reason I decided to pick this game for the Berber showcase for average age plays is because I like to put a spotlight on these civilization bonuses that maybe aren't as flashy, but that do show the strategies that you can take as a Berber player. And I think that in that sense, this game was excellent. We got to see the faster moving villagers on defense, on offense. We got to see, because of that bonus, the town center goes up faster. Because of that bonus, villagers lived that would have died. Because of that bonus, we were able to get towers up faster, even if we weren't able to keep them up. We got to see the faster moving ships. I got to go heavily into a fishing economy that got more food for me because of those faster moving fishing ships, right? Not to mention I had more ships. I had 12 to his 5, and that made a big difference. Again, if I take a, and not to mention the faster moving ships means that my, I think one of the reasons he surrendered is because at the same time that I wiped out these archers, at that exact moment, I had fire ships in his economy. And if I didn't have that bonus, they probably would have still been on their way, and he wouldn't have been hit with that 1-2 punch at the exact same time. And honestly, I kind of think that 1-2 punch scared him off. It was so much pressure all at once. They just said, I don't even want to fight it. I'm out. And you can't underestimate the psychological aspect of Age of Empires either. So that faster Navy bonus helped out here as well, right? Again, because of the stable units being 15 to 20% cheaper, that meant that I was able to get more knights out than I otherwise would have been. Now, I haven't run the numbers to see how many knights I would have been able to afford otherwise, but I know out of the gate, you're able to mass up significant knight numbers you otherwise would not be able to because you are playing as the Berber player. So, as the Berbers, I think that some of the things that maybe we don't often consider are taking advantage of the fishing aspect. The faster ships do mean that you do have better fishing ships than a generic vanilla civilization. That will help with your food economy, and of course you need food for knights. But your main claim to fame, get into the Castle Age, pump out knights. If he has, spearmen waiting for you, either use your superior numbers to wipe out those spearmen anyway, but if it's too many spearmen or pikemen, go Geniteur, because they're a mounted skirmisher, and skirmishers have bonuses against spearmen and pikemen. You have the Camel Archer ready to go as your unique unit if they're going Cav Archer in response to your knights, right? So you have basically an all-mounted force as a response to everything that they have. And then when you hit the Imperial Age, again, you are much more likely to win the Trebuchet War against a generic vanilla civilization because you have those faster working castles with the Casbah bonus, right? So I think those characterize sort of the unique aspects of what the Berbers bring to the table. But again, feel free to leave a comment as to what you think some unique Berber strategies are, some of the stories that you've had playing as or against the Berbers. Let me know. I'm all about it. Anyway, this is the Iron Kaiser with the Berbers signing off.